The Democrats are calling this an act of betrayal. President Joe Biden's former press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, is leaving the Democratic Party. Tyrone Bowman live. Let's talk about it on tonight. According to Politico, what is going on here with former President Joe Biden's first African American press secretary? Karine Jean-Pierre's announcement that she's leaving the Democratic Party, timed with the rollout of a new book, has detonated long simmering grievances among her former White House colleagues about Jean-Pierre's pursuit of celebrity and personal media exposure while serving as then President Joe Biden's press secretary. The attention-grabbing ploy lit up Democratic and Biden alumni texting groups and reignited frustrations that burned for years about Jean-Pierre, according to 7 former Biden administration officials granted anonymity to describe private conversations. One former official recalled that Jean-Pierre had joked about becoming an independent even while on the job in the Biden White House. An off-key comment for someone ostensibly serving as a major messenger for the Democratic Party. Another former official said that Jean-Pierre had begun working during the Biden administration with a New York-based publicist and had copied that person on official emails before some of Jean-Pierre's White House colleagues intervened. Wow. Everyone thinks this is a grift, the first former official said of Jean-Pierre's book project. As Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre's halting, ineffectual briefings exasperated reporters and routinely offered material for the Republican Party's main account on X. She frustrated colleagues throughout the West Wing for focusing on raising her own profile while leaving the hands-on management of media relations and the White House press shop to do other aides. While it's unclear how she will portray Biden or her time at the White House in the book titled Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. Several former colleagues expressed confusion at how Jean-Pierre seemingly intends to paint Biden as a victim while pinning her own decision to leave the party on his broken White House. The teasing of the book project by the Hatchet imprint stated that Jean-Pierre will offer her view of the 3 weeks of turmoil following Biden's miserable defeat last summer that culminated with him dropping his re-election bid. As a result, the book's promotional material blames in part on a betrayal by the Democratic Party, quote, close quote. Jean-Pierre's former staffers offered withering criticism of what they see as an opportunistic grift. She made a joke about being an independent last year, and now it's a book. All ideas are monetary, even the dumb ones, said one of the former staffers, quote, close quote. Katalin Legaki, a Democratic strategist who worked in the Commerce Department's communications shop during Biden's term, also took issue with the book's apparent premise. Kamala Harris and the entire Biden-Harris campaign did heroes work to avoid losing 400 electoral votes and giving Republicans a supermajority in Congress, which is what would have happened if he stayed on the ticket, she said. It's more productive to focus on that and thank Biden for doing the responsible thing by stepping aside, that it's to pretend this was an unwarranted act of betrayal. Democrats, Legaki continued, should shift their focus on the effects of Republicans' big, beautiful bill, which she said would have been even more drastic had Biden remained on the ticket and bolstered the GOP's numbers in Congress. You know, the Democrats got a lot of in-house cleaning to do. Get your focus together. You can't just have a few people like Governor Tim Walz, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, along with Senator Bernie Sanders, out front constantly doing all the talking, all the battling. Where are the workhorses within the Democratic Party? Where are the voices of dissent about what's going on? Where are the so-called heroes of the Democratic Party? Get your act together or you're going to continue to lose election after election after election. Y'all better listen up. The Republicans are not playing with y'all. Y'all may be playing with the Republicans, but they're not playing with you. The American people are looking for leadership. The American people are looking for a voice of optimism and hope. They're looking for individuals who are going to stand up and who are going to fight for them. They already know the problems. They already know what's happening. What is the solution? When somebody is bleeding, you don't keep talking about how they got cut. You find a way to clean the blood up, stop the bleeding, clean out the wound, and then put the healing balm on the body so the arm can heal. It's time to get the job done. Listen up, Democrats. I'm just going to say this very plainly. If you don't know how to articulate, and if you don't know how to voice your opinion, if you don't know how to open up your mouth and talk, then you need to hire somebody like me. You need to hire somebody like me to speak, to represent, to talk, and don't run away. You in the heat of the battle, you can't run away. You got to run into the battle. Y'all need to be paying attention to the book called The Art of War. Stop playing checkers and learn to play strategic chess games. If Karine Jean-Pierre wants to defect from the Democratic Party, c'est la vie. Bye. Be gone with it. Leave. Go. Do what you want to do. She worked for the Biden administration for 4 years. She's called a betrayer. She's called a turncoat. She's called a defector. Call it for what it really is. Don't pussyfoot around with it. Don't play with it. That's what she is. People will literally die because of Republican Medicaid acts. Kids will go hungry because of SNAP cuts, she said. The only reason we stand a chance to reduce the harm inflicted is the Democratic Party did the right thing here. It's completely nuts to be more upset that the party didn't prioritize Joe Biden's ego and keep him on the ticket than to thank God we averted complete and total disaster. A New York-based publicist, Gilda Squire, worked informally with Jean-Pierre while she was in the White House and was on multiple occasions copied on official emails before staffers raised the issue. Another former official said Squire previously served as a publicity director for HarperCollins Publishers and also did PR for Penguin Putman Publishing, according to her Lankendale. And Jean-Pierre was the subject of several lengthy profiles in lifestyle publications, including Vogue and Women's Health, and traveled to New York to appear on The View. According to two of the former officials, Jean-Pierre had been hoping for a post-White House job as a co-host on the show, following the template of her predecessor, Jane Piskey, who departed the job after just more than a year for an anchor job at MSNBC. But no such opportunity materialized for Jean-Pierre, a factor three of her former colleagues surmised that likely led to the book. Neither Jean-Pierre nor Squire responded to requests for comment, while their number of former colleagues kept their comments private. Jeremy Edwards, who served in the press shop under Jean-Pierre, posted a succinct response to her book on project on X, quote, LOL, laughing out loud. Jean-Pierre wouldn't be the first press secretary in recent years to turn against her boss or former colleagues. Stephen Grisham, who served as press secretary during President Donald Trump's first term, authored a 2021 book detailing her experience in the White House and how Trump often berated her. But whereas Grisham was never allowed to brief at the podium, Jean-Pierre was the public face of the administration for 2.5 years. One Democratic operative who worked with Jean-Pierre prior to her White House tenure called the sudden turnaround the most grifty thing I've seen in a long time, and that's saying something in Washington. She was the public face telling us all that this White House was on track and that Biden was amazing, and now she doesn't even want to be a Democrat. One of the former Biden White House officials said via text, she's making herself the middle ground here when Republicans hate her. You better believe they hate her. And I'm going to be nice about it. She's not in any position to be a connector of our two-party system, and assuming she could be is just ego. Wow. Quick look at some comments. Rufus Blade, pro-Trump. Kudos to you, Rufus. Anonymous. Nothing shy about you. All right, Anonymous. Rufus Blade, again, people need to get off their ass as quick dependent on the government. I hope he cuts Section 8 and food stamps. All right. Well, food stamps and Section 8 will be cut for black people and white people. Right back at you. So don't even be snide with your snide ass remarks thinking that only black people are on Section 8 and only black people get food stamps. White people are on Section 8. White people get food stamps. White people get Medicaid just like everybody else. Right back at you. Touche. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace. Never surrender. Never quit.